It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, guys and girls, and welcome back to the F1 podcast. And I'm joined by David.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, whatever that is in Belgium.
Well, I wish I knew. Wish I knew. Yeah, so Belgium.
Belgium sprint weekend.
To be honest, I'm going to say off the bat, I'm still not overly keen over this sprint shootout thing. And
it needs work. I actually think we've taken a backward step. I think I said it before. I like the fact that the sprint race set the grid for the race. I've said what I would change for. Now, I'm going to kind of contradict myself a little bit there, because if it did, it would have screwed Perez.
Yeah.
You know, so in a way, it's good that it didn't and that there was a separate qualifying, but one thing I do quite enjoy the lack of practice times. It does seem to throw all the teams a little bit of a curveball.
The problem was they didn't.
The one practice session there was just about a boating session. I know.
Yeah,
because it's Spa.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot of running, so I can tell you, out of all the teams, Sainz was the only one that did the most. Sainz was the only one that did the most laps.
No, he wasn't. Valtteri did the same number according to the list.
Did he? Oh, yeah, sorry. Valtteri did as well.
It's not sorted by laps.
No, I know. Yeah, so there was only, like I said...
Sainz and Valtteri on 9.
9.
Nico, Yuki, and Xiao got 8.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the whole list, but you get the idea. When you consider, if I, just for example, go back to Hungary and practice 1, you had 13 laps for the top guy. Practice 2, you had 20 laps.
Yeah.
Practice 3, 29 laps down there. 29. So in an average weekend, a team does about 70, 80 practice laps, I bet, an average car.
Yeah. Whereas...
Yeah, there, they got 8, they got 9. Some, Piastri, 4.
Gasly, Ocon, and Max was only 2.
And didn't manage to set a time.
No. I mean, so the usual spiel is going to happen, and it's basically qualifying, and then it'll be sprint talk and race talk, just because neither of us caught the sprint shootout.
Unfortunately, due to my work commitments and that, Saturdays are difficult for me. If I'm lucky, I get to watch a quali or a sprint later that evening. But it's just the way things are, sadly. I'd love to be able to sit and watch every session, but yeah, I have too many bills that would argue if I did.
Well, it's not that. It's just, it's timing as well. It's being able to time it to get...
Oh, yeah. Like qualifying, depending on what time of day it is, I usually finish work early afternoon on Saturday. If qualifying is like 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm usually good. Like the last couple have been like 2 o'clock. It's been a case of watch them later on when I get home. Set the good old skybox to record.
I don't think quali was. I thought quali was... Quali was... Sure, Belgium quali was 4.
I think I was a bit loud. No, I was late to finish. I had a bit messed about at work.
I think it was about 3.
Like I say, I got home and watched. I'd got the sprint recorded, so I watched that.
It's not going to actually tell me now.
Wow. I never realised the F1 site literally has all the times. Like, I'm currently looking at the 1976 Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And it has all the results in it. Wow, I did not know that. Sorry, I'm off topic there.
Oh, you can go right back with the results. Yeah, if they don't... That was kind of weird because... Yeah, it's not going to tell me now. Okay. I wanted to find out, but I can't... Excuse me, can't find out. Well, I mean, qualifying is going to be... It's going to be back to the normal for the Dutch Grand Prix, but it's going to be 2 o'clock. It's going to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then 2 o'clock race. But it was a mixed bag. It was Belgium, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather was just typical.
I mean, I thought we did well. We had a delay on the sprint, didn't we? I thought we were quite lucky to get the race away the way we did.
Yeah. Well, it was a delay on the sprint, obviously, because there was a knock-on effect from a couple of things, like it could have been the F2 or something like that.
Yeah, but it was the weather one. Because I turned it on to watch it, and they were sat there with the gazebos over the cars.
Yeah, the weather hadn't helped, and I think the race director decided to let the heaviest part blow over first, because see, I'm not going to say it was it was a knock-on effect of recent events at Spa that's happened. It might be, but I kind of get why they let it slip a bit, just because.
Plus, they didn't want a repeat of the infamous year,
2021.
the 2 laps behind the safety car. So, yeah, they're being cautious, which I am not going to argue with.
No, because they did they did a rolling start, but...
And we lost about 3 laps off the sprint, didn't we, because of...
Was it 4?
No, it was 3. We went from 14 to 11.
Because it was the initial formation lap. There was about 4 formation laps, technically. Because they don't class the formation lap as a lap, do they, really?
Yeah.
They don't officially count it as a lap. So it's like it was 4 formation laps behind the safety car then. I tell you what.
And then pretty much everything straight in the pits as the formation lap. Finished.
Yeah. But I tell you what. I'm sure it got picked up where Mylander nearly ended up going a bit slidey.
He's only had a track limit violation at one point.
That was last time, wasn't it?
He did it again this time. We
probably...
said it before. That's a big 2-ton car on road tyres. You know,
it'd be on
it's going to be a bit of a beast.
It'd be on all weather tyres, but I bet that grip...
I bet you good one. He'll be on the same tyres it would leave the factory if you bought it. Because don't forget, it's a 600 horsepower sports car. No, when all's said and done,
yeah, but
it won't leave the factory on ditch finders.
No, they'll be on all weather. It's on all weather tyres, though.
They'll be the same tyres it leaves the factory with.
Yeah, but they're all weathers.
There'll be the Pirelli P Sports, Michelin PS4s. I don't know who Mercedes use these days.
Yeah, but they're still classed as all weather tyres.
Yeah, there's road tyres.
I just think there was that much water that it did. I noticed it going a bit slidey, but I'm thinking, yeah, he's having to hammer it round, but even he was having a little bit of fun there. Because they had them both round, didn't they? Didn't they have the medical car and safety car around at one point?
Yeah, they had them both going round.
Did you notice where they parked them?
Just on the outside of just on the inside of the first corner, yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can't imagine the safety car having to come out and navigate that pit lane in a hurry. But yeah, qualifying was a bit weird.
I say I only saw the actual sprint, so I can't.
I mean,
I'll let you lead on that.
my point is being proven here about that AlphaTauri. And I'm going to start with AlphaTauri. Yes, Yuki drove the nuts off it to get it into Q2. But Danny Rick's just... I don't know.
He's not having this blaze of glory I think a few people were eyeing him up for.
Like I said, there was a lot of hype surrounding him. His return and coming back. And it's like, yeah, it's good to see Danny back. But it's a bit of a shame on him. Because he's been put into what? The slowest car on the grid. Effectively.
Well, at the moment it is, yes.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, I think we said this last time, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad car. The point I'm going to make is, at the end of the day, there's 10 cars on that grid. One of them's got to be the last. That's just the way the world works. Unfortunately, this year it's the AlphaTauri. Last year it was probably the Haas.
Yeah.
Start of the season, it was probably the McLaren, let's be honest.
Yeah,
but as teams develop and jump around, AlphaTauri seems to have just gone off the boil. Now, you never know. A couple of upgrade packages, I can't see him being back up there where McLaren are, but could certainly put them back into the fight a little bit. We've got a couple of cars this year that, to me, are outperforming what we would expect. None of us saw Aston Martin coming the way they did. Because last year their car wasn't great.
No, but Aston have...
Williams this year, especially in Albon's hands, is outperforming what I think a lot of us would have expected.
Yeah. Well, that Williams has got some straight line speed.
Honestly, the Williams and the McLaren are polar opposites, aren't they? Because the McLaren was there. The McLaren was shit in a straight line. I mean, poor Lando looked like he had one less gear than everybody else at one point.
Yeah.
But that Williams and tracks like this benefit that because it made that Williams very hard to overtake. Because by the time you got close enough to it, down the main straight, it buggered off.
And
a car that's quick in a straight line is always going to be a challenge because most of your overtaking places are at the end of straights.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Haas kind of reasonable, you know.
Haas, it appears to be Hulkenberg to me, saying that he qualified last, but Hulkenberg to me has been almost the standout a little more.
Yeah, the Hulkenberg had issues.
K-Mag actually, I realised Haas did my trick, didn't they? Because they got that penalty for impeding, which made them realise they were going to be at the back, so they just stuck a whole new engine in the car. That's why they started from the pit lane.
Yeah, but Hulkenberg had hydraulic issues. That's why he was, after qualifying, that was it. He was a bit screwed.
It's a bit like Max was changing that gearbox. Do you reckon they needed that, or do you reckon they were just playing a bit of a game?
There's a possibility they needed it.
I know. I honestly think it was just a case of they knew it's a track he'd be strong at.
Yeah.
So they started sixth. They knew they were going to be back over the front. So why not take a gearbox now on a track where we knew we could overtake? Because don't forget, like we've done in the game, they've now got that gearbox for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That's one more in the system. It's not a bad idea at times like that if you know you can make that time back up.
It's Max, isn't it? That's
it. Heck, he could have started back at the previous race and still would have finished on the lead lap.
I mean, it took him
17 laps.
17.
Which is a bit more than the 3 I estimated before the race. But
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I said from the beginning, the only real challenge I saw for him was Perez. If Perez got his foot down and gone, he was the only one to me that could have been a challenge.
Hmm.
And even then, Max is just on a different plane at the moment.
Yeah, but
Even if he's having a bit of a lover's tiff with his engineer.
I was gonna say I was gonna come on to that in a bit.
Fair enough, we'll leave it. But the sprinters we were talking about, we got sidetracked.
Well, we were talking about quali, but yeah, no, quali was just quali, but it was nice to see. See, the Aston Martins had a little bit of pace there, but I don't think the Aston is actually suited to tracks with just straight line speed, which is going to bugger them. Vegas, if they don't do something over after the summer break, Vegas is going to bugger them.
Well, there's 2 or 3. I mean,
Singapore.
this is where I should know the calendar, and
Singapore they'll do well, possibly.
I mean, bringing Monza, if you've not got straight line speed, Monza's going to be painful.
Yeah, you got Monza. Obviously.
Let's be honest, it's the one place where you could probably throw away the rear wing and still finish the lap.
Yeah. You've got.
Qatar felt very quick to us.
Qatar seems like another speed track.
Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Derby, so yeah.
You know, you got Mexico is a bit of an old. The only straight line you really need is that start finish straight.
And the drag out of the third corner. Don't forget Mexico, you do the first left, they do a right left. Then you got that drag straight on the right left, haven't you?
Then you got the small
right, sorry.
Then you got the small DRS before.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah,
You got the small DRS before like the stadium.
I'm guessing McLaren have the same issue because theirs is a very downforcey car. Unless it's wet or something, Monza's going to be painful for them.
Well, no. Really, I mean, well, yeah, maybe, but no, but it depends.
Not like a concise answer, is there, folks?
It depends on that because the only reason
I just think
McLaren.
Monza's the one circuit where you do need speed. The McLaren at the moment seems to be a very downforcey car.
Yeah, but Monza is a temple of speed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Unless McLaren can dump a load of that downforce and still have the car be drivable, which is not something I know they set the cars up downforce heavy, anticipating maybe a wet race.
Well, yeah, they did.
But unless they can dump 90% of that.
I know, but look, you just got to go back to McLaren and Silverstone.
Yeah, but Silverstone's not as much a speed track as Monza in my book.
No, we know Monza's the quick one.
Monza used to be the only track where we used to run maximum speed. It used to be the only track where we ran it.
Yeah, but we'll have to see what happens when it comes to Monza. I mean, like I say, Aston have got a shot come Singapore because I mean they qualified 9th and 10th. They squeaked quali. You know, you had the likes of the Mercedes were well split throughout quali. You know, you had Hamilton up in 4th, and then George in 8th.
Yeah.
Don't know what it was with George.
He had a bit of a rough weekend, didn't he? In general, he seemed to not. There was obviously too much sweat on the track.
Yeah. Then you had the likes Norris and Piastri. I mean, Piastri out qualifying. Did he out qualify Norris? Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
6th to 7th. Piastri right now is driving his heart out, and it's once lovely. I mean, getting on, I was gutted for him in the race. I mean, we're going to get on to that, but honest to God, I was gutted when that happened, and he was probably 50-50 to blame on that one. But we will come on to that.
Yeah. You know, then you have one Ferrari in second, who qualified second. one Ferrari who was in 5th.
Yeah, but you're taking that. All I take that is actually to me a positive, a little bit of a positive sign, because the top 4 places, if you've got different cars there, it's a good sign. It's a sign that the field isn't as far spread as we think it is.
Well,
Certainly in qualifying pace.
Red Bull, Ferrari, Red Bull, Merc, Ferrari, 2 McLarens,
McLaren.
a Mercedes, and 2
So he's just
Aston
5 teams,
Martins.
isn't he? 'Cause he's 2 of each car.
Yeah, 2 Aston
Just not
Martins, and
necessarily.
then
It's not quite Noah's Ark, but
it's a bit weird because, like I say, you had Yuki in the Yuki in the AlphaTauri.
the Alpines just daren't be close together at the moment. I don't think.
No.
I bet they've asked if they can move their garages to opposite ends of the pit lane just to be safe.
Yeah, it's kind of all gone down at Alpine, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, is it 3 guys have stepped down?
Otmar.
Otmar's gone, yeah.
I want to say, was it Lawrence?
Permain and
Wasn't one of the big? Was it one? Not one of the biggies. I know.
sporting director Alan Permain,
Yeah.
and chief technical officer Pat Fry. Now Fry's gone to Williams, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Now Pat Fry's an old name in the sport.
But I wonder why they got rid of Otmar.
They're not getting the results they want, are they? And the trouble is, you get this in football, and I do not understand it. I do not get my head round it. If a team isn't performing, they sack the manager.
Yeah.
And while I understand that the manager has a certain role to play in a team, it seems, and I know I'm talking football here, which is something I don't particularly follow, but of course, when you live in England, you've no choice to an extent. I've never got this. We've lost 3 games in a row. The manager's gone. Why not look at the 11 people you've probably paid about 30 million for those 3 games who haven't fucking performed? Pardon my French.
Well, yeah, no, but it's true. That's why I mark everyone. That's why I mark everyone as an explicit.
I do try not to, but it's one of them. I look at it and I just think, maybe 11 people on that pitch haven't performed, so we're going to sack the guy stood on the side. What?
Yeah, but it's the same. It's like,
that's a bit like me saying I don't like what you're saying, going and punching the bloke 3 doors down. It doesn't really make any sense.
See, it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, probably some of the decisions have been Otmar's, but I'm guessing. I think at the end of the day, some of it probably has boiled down as well to the whole Piastri bollocks that went on. I don't think that. I don't think.
Let's be perfectly honest. As much as I don't agree with the way Piastri did that, I don't. 100% do not.
No, I don't.
It's looking like it wasn't the worst move from him.
No.
Because let's be honest, he's in a better spot. I think he's better where he is.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that was maybe the start of what's happened now with Otmar.
Not only that, there's little things. You think they lost Alonso as well. Now I can imagine his experience and everything in the team like that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they've got 2 youngish guys. I mean, Gasly's been in a few years now, Ocon, but they're still younger. Whereas somebody like Fernando brings an experience of working at the big teams. He, 2 World Championships, worked at McLaren, worked at
Ferrari,
Renault when it was high up the grid.
Yeah.
People like that bring experience of not just of racing, but of teams and how teams work. And to suddenly lose that, it's one of the reasons why it's probably such a good grab for Aston.
Well, yeah.
But to lose that as well, you're then relying on 2 young guys to try and head it up. And that's not always the easiest thing in the world. And I'm not saying that to get at Ocon and Gasly. I mean, Gasly's a race winner, let's not forget that.
Well, hasn't Ocon won?
Ocon won. It was Hungary last year, wasn't it? Was it year before? No.
Well, who won the French Grand Prix?
I thought Gasly's win was at Monza.
Yeah, Gasly was at Monza, I know that, but I'm sure didn't Ocon win the French Grand Prix?
He might want to walk on. Ocon won that Hungary Grand Prix, the one where Hamilton was the only person to take the starting grid. If you remember, because Bottas bowled the first. No, if I know, it wasn't the same weekend. No, it was the year after. He won the Bottas bowling weekend because him and Alonso in the Alpines managed to dance around the inside of it all. And then Alonso put this massive defence on against Hamilton.
Yeah, it was 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Vettel got DQ'd.
From where? From that race? Are you looking at that race?
From that race.
I was just looking at Ocon's profile.
No, Vettel got DQ'd.
As for Gasly, I am 99.9% sure his win came at Monza.
His was 2020? No. Did they race at Monza in 2020? I think they did.
2020, peaking with an emotional maiden win of the renamed AlphaTauri's home race in Italy.
Yeah, because then it was Carlos in the McLaren behind him. And then Stroll in the Racing Point BWT Mercedes at that point.
Yeah. So they both have won, but at the same time, like I say, it's more than just winning races. It's just the whole knowledge of how things work that can come from somebody. I mean, I don't know the rest of the team list, but I don't think there's a lot of very experienced people in the Alpine team.
No.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Look, new guys need to come in. That's a fact. That's the problem I keep hammering on about drivers at the moment. I think we're going to hit a bit of a vacuum of drivers in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because young guys aren't getting the shots through. But that's a debate we've had before. But, they seem to be a team that's a little bit rudderless. And I just think firing a lot of management isn't always the right approach. Because all you do there is create more turmoil.
Well, yeah.
But that's just my opinion. And
so, yeah, qualifying was it was a bit lackluster, I feel. Let's move on to the sprint.
Yeah, let's move on to the sprint. But in true sprint fashion, we'll talk about it in an hour's time.
Yeah, I know.
As I say, the weather, and fair play to them. I'm not actually going to argue with those decisions these days. They're having to be careful for very good reason.
Well, let's hope we don't get a monsoon type event happen in Japan, otherwise that will get delayed. And that's an early morning start.
Aye.
Is that one? That Vegas and...
Vegas shouldn't be too bad timings for us, should it?
Yeah, it is. I think Vegas is the other. Or is it Singapore?
Singapore will be shiting times.
No, Singapore's afternoon
1 o'clock
times.
in the afternoon. Yeah, because it's a night race, isn't it?
Japan's the bugger for us because it's 6 a.m. Vegas is... No, that's Korea. That's the late one. Yeah,
8 o'clock at night.
Vegas. Yeah, Vegas is 6 a.m.
Oh well.
So it's another crappy one.
Early morning. I don't mind early mornings too much. Chance to get up, get jobs done.
And you probably... You're going to be away, are you? It's that weekend, isn't it?
I get back Saturday.
Oh yeah, you do.
We go away on the Thursday, which is the day after her birthday, and come back on the Saturday, which is the day before mine.
But
because that Sunday is my birthday.
Yeah.
And I'll be up at 6 a.m. for an F1 race. I mean, I keep dropping her hints that it would be an amazing birthday present to be out there, but she's not taking the bait. Really.
I wonder why.
Because we haven't got the money to frigging buy tickets. I know why.
I mean, there's controversy already surrounding Vegas to do with the fact that if the certain resorts and stuff, and I know this is way off tangent, that
Yeah, they're wanting them to pay just to
they're
have
wanting
viewing
to
points,
pay,
aren't they?
otherwise they're gonna barricade it. It's like, is that kind of wise? But I get why F1 want to do it, but
Because everyone want to make money. It's simple as that. Let's see how it goes first. I have good high hopes that Vegas is going to be fun. It's going to be tacky as fuck. It's going to be full on
well,
tacky American.
we know it's gonna be tack.
But I have good faith in it actually being really good fun.
We'll see. I mean, we've driven the track, and
It's interesting.
it
You've driven
is.
the track. I freaking washing machine down the track.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
I do remember that one.
Check the channel for that one, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, the sprint. So, got going, 3 laps on the pace car, and then immediately have to feel pity for dries. Or Inters, sorry, won it.
Yeah.
Inters, because under the rules, if they start under safety car, it has to be full wets.
It has to be the extreme wets if the
It's
race
declared a wet
is
start behind the safety car.
if it's declared to start behind the safety car, it has to be extreme wet tyres fitted.
Yeah, but then pretty much by the time they'd done the 3 or 4 laps, it was starting to dry to the point where,
It was into
what did I say, half the grid. At which point we got the first piece of fun, which was that Piastri ended up in the lead briefly.
Yeah.
Because Red Bull were worried that if they'd have led the train into the pits, they'd have got caught.
Mm.
And I'll admit, there was 1 or 2 very borderline unsafe releases in
Oh
my
yeah.
book. I hate watching cars go too wide down a pit lane. It always just makes me shudder. I hate it.
Well, if there'd have been a big crash in the pit lane, the race would have been red flagged.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not the problem. It's if a bloody car gets speared into a load of mechanics or something silly.
Well, yeah, but they just still had to.
Oh, our car ends up in a garage by accident or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Don't get me wrong. I know what you're saying, but
they just still had to red flag it. But I mean, it was not a bad sprint. I mean, you had 2 DNFs in the sprint.
Yeah, a rare mistake from Fernando.
Fernando and Perez.
Which is what I said, alluded to at the beginning, wasn't it? That if by my old rules, where the sprint decided the grid for the race, Perez would have been in trouble. And I will say this, even though I'm a Perez fan, I think the penalty on Hamilton was harsh.
Hamilton penalty, 5 seconds.
You got a 5-second penalty for that incident. Now, to me, it was harsh.
Nah.
Because to me, it was a racing incident.
Maybe. I don't know. You're not going to get a definitive answer out of me out of that one, I'm afraid.
Oh, it's kind of borderline, but like I said, I don't know. I've said it before. If we want people to race, then we need to not penalise them if they happen to make contact. Now, yeah, it ended Perez's sprint. I get that, but still.
Yeah, but if the steward saw it as him causing the collision, then.
But then again, I will throw in then why was there not a penalty given for that first corner incident between Sainz and Piastri?
It's first friggin' lap, wasn't it? Yes, yeah, but that's exactly what I thought about it.
You know, now I think I alluded to this at the beginning. Right, sprint. Let's talk about that when we get there. Let's not jump around too much. Sprint say, I do think it was harsh, but fair enough because it did end up retiring Perez's car with a whacking rate hole in the sidewall. We had Alonso making a rare and lost it by himself. You know, as far as we could see, he just put a bit too many revs on it at a curb and
Well,
Next thing he was pirouetting.
yeah, but you do know what the curbs can be like in wet weather.
It was just rare to see that from Fernando.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. It's one of them things, but
It's just very rare to see that from Fernando, and I don't think he actually hit the wall. I think he might have said just get it stopped. Obviously, once it was buried in the gravel, that was it.
yeah. I mean, fair play to Gasly though. In the sprint,
It's one of them. A race like that in them kind of conditions
it mixes
is where you
stuff
can
up.
often get surprises.
Well,
And you say that about Gasly. I mean, Ocon 9th, Danny Rick got 10th. I know you only get points to 8th in the sprint, but when you compare that to the performance in the race, that AlphaTauri clearly had a bit more about it in those conditions.
yeah, it was a bit weird. Like I said, you had the Hasses towards the bottom. Obviously, Logan Sargent, he had a shocker of a sprint.
Sargent's, to me, Sargent's not exactly showing himself with glory, right? I think I said this last time.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Yes, he's a rookie. He's learning. But he's not been given the boot.
Which is what I've gone back to saying before, which is why I think the AlphaTauri incident was maybe a bit short-sighted.
Well, what do you expect with that dickhead? Yeah, I may be a Red Bull fan, but no, he's not one of my best. And I will clarify, yes, I'm a Red Bull and a McLaren fan, but he's not. Yes, he may be a Red Bull person, but no.
And I'm just sat here on the fence.
He's made a wrong choice. And I think it's the other wrong thing is the fact that, you've got the likes of, yes, they've put Danny Rick in the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri's shite. I mean, okay, yeah, fair play. Yuki's absolutely driving the nuts off it, but Yuki's underperforming. Yes, he's scored a couple, he's scoring points. But he's not performing to the bit. The AlphaTauri isn't performing to the level like when Gasly and Yuki were there.
Oh, no, definitely not.
And it is quite. It's sad to see from where the AlphaTauri was to where it is now. Gasly was quite consistent in the AlphaTauri.
Yeah. But going back to what I've said, it's one of them. It's the great revolving door of F1. Next season, that AlphaTauri could be back into the top 10.
Could be. But you've got the likes of, Danny Rick in there at the moment. Yes, Danny Rick's got experience, but as we keep saying, Danny Rick's getting on a bit. But no offense,
and he's probably only just older than us two.
Yeah, but it's there was too much hype. There was too much hype put around Danny Rick's return.
Wow, date of birth 1st of the 7th, 89.
So he's only what, a year older than me then? No.
No, actually he's about 4 months older than me.
89.
Yeah. Makes him just 34 this month.
Fucking hell, he's younger than me. Yeah.
There are people out there younger than you, mate.
Hell. He's younger than me.
Hey, if you really want to scare you, I'll pull Piastri's details up.
No, don't. But
date of birth starts with 20. That should be illegal.
Christ. but there was a lot of hype brought surrounding his return, and
but if the AlphaTauri is where it is, I'm afraid even if you stuck Max at the moment in that AlphaTauri, I don't think it's gonna
No.
set the world on fire. 'Cause I just don't think the car's there.
No. Honestly, I think they've the there was a slight okay. I feel there was a slight mistake made when they brought in DeVries, because yes, he was a good is a good driver. He had a completely different car that he was driving there to compare to what he had. But to only give him the number of races that he had.
Don't forget though, Piastri did nothing last year. Piastri wasn't racing last year at all. He wasn't in lower formula.
No, he wasn't.
So if you're going to play it that way, Piastri's basically had a gap year, and look at how he's performing right now.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't think what had happened was fair on Nick, because
Well, I agree with you. I fully agree with you.
the fact that when Danny did his testing, he was testing in a goddamn Red Bull, not the AlphaTauri. They should have stuck him in an AlphaTauri to test. Then see how he got on. Then made the decision. Not stick him in a car that was more powerful than what he was going to be put in, and not gone off them test results to make that decision.
Yeah, but they'll have done it. What they'll have done is compared his times to Max's probably.
Yeah, but it's still not gonna help him really, because if the car's not there, the car's not there. He can't match that. They should have done what Williams have done. Left DeVries there, let him get the experience through the entire season, and then perhaps maybe reviewed it at the end of the season, or took the gamble, got him another season, and see how he performed then with a newer car. Not, like I say, Yuki's not exactly been performing looking through past results.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, even looking at this weekend, okay. He only finished 18th in that sprint. He finished, last in the sprint race.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a sprint, but Danny Rick outdid him. But, anyways, move on. So, now we come to the race.
The race. Where the weather actually held out.
It started raining.
Briefly though, nothing to any.
Hang on, where was it that Max nearly lost it? The sprint? Or the race?
It was the race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the race going through Eau Rouge, ironically. Eau Rouge, because that's the colour his trousers probably were afterwards.
Probably.
Because it's not a good place to get a twitch on, is that?
No, and he got a twitch. But the start, I mean, there was all sorts of kerfuffle at the start. I mean, let's look at the starting grid. So where was the... No, it was the race. Wasn't it? Yes, it was the race. So, because of Max's gearbox penalty, Max started at 6. So you had Leclerc and Perez, Hamilton, Sainz and Piastri, Max, Norris, Russell, and Fernando.
Hmm.
You know, Yuki, fair play because of his qualifying, started 11th, and Ricardo was effectively starting down the bottom end of the field.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Magnussen got penalised 3 grid places for impeding during qualifying, which I forgot to mention. Hulkenberg required to start from the pit lane after car was modified whilst on Fermi. Didn't do him any good, though, did it? So the start of the race was, like we say, it was chaotic, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
You know, you had them fighting away, but then let's come on to the Oscar Piastri and Carlos Sainz incident.
Like I'll say, I'm kind of on the fence here because I will never criticise somebody having a go, but Oscar put his car into a gap that was only ever going to close. The first corner of Belgium does pinch naturally because of the angle. Now Sainz turned in sharp, but Sainz had to because those cars to his outside.
Sainz locked up.
Yeah, and in trying to avoid the car in front of him, unfortunately cut straight across the front of
Yeah,
Oscar.
but then Oscar was in his blind spot, so that's why he didn't see him, and eventually he got that pinched into the source. He ends up hitting a wheel he clunked the wheel against that barrier.
Well, he did make contact with Sainz's car, and he also hit the wall, didn't he?
Yeah, he did both. It's because Sainz was trying to avoid. I'm trying to look at the. Sainz was trying to avoid Hamilton because Perez had done his usual weavy defendy trick. So that spooked Hamilton a bit, which in turn, you know, Sainz locked up. He got spooked. Tried to turn in to obviously because he hadn't seen Oscar was there. If he'd have seen Oscar was there, he might have gone a little, you know. There was nowhere for Sainz to go, basically.
Oh, no.
And then there was nowhere for Oscar to go, really. I mean, they said no further investigation. Now, technically, Sainz knocked Oscar out, but then later on, Sainz actually retired himself.
Yeah, the car was crippled. The car was terrible. It was going backwards.
After 23 laps, Oscar didn't get any laps done.
No, the car eventually died around the bottom of the track. Which they did well to clear that and not need a safety car, I thought.
Cleared it very quickly.
Luckily, such a long lap, they had a good gap.
Did forget to mention, though, that I did see one thing. There was one thing before. Was it before the race, or it was somewhere, anyways, that Ted ended up talking to the guy that does the green flag.
Yeah, Bernard.
And then Brundle didn't do a grid walk.
No, Brundle didn't do it this time.
He did a fan walk instead. And then a lot of perplexed fans because they couldn't understand him. So in the end, that's why he said, "Is there anybody who speaks English?" That wasn't him. That wasn't him being racist. It was the case that the fans couldn't understand him.
He ended up speaking to a lot of Irish, didn't he?
Yeah. But that was somewhat different, which, okay, fair play, of course. I'm guessing he didn't want any more controversy after getting snubbed by. See,
yeah,
I kind of agree with what we said last time about that. You know, if you're a guest of a team, at least be prepared to speak, and if the and don't.
Like I said, if you've come to F1,
Yeah.
understand that's where you are. You're probably there to promote your own shit, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
it'd be like one of the F1 drivers going to a big fashion parade and refusing to do anything there.
Oh, you mean like Hamilton?
I actually wasn't aiming anything at him in particular. I just meant in general. I was trying to throw it because he was that car where she was a model, so I was trying to throw it the other
Oh,
way.
yeah, I know.
He was also the voice of the pop radio station on GTA 5.
Yeah, and she was also in Suicide Squad.
Never watched it.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, she was in that as well.
Never.
I remember being GTA, but yeah.
The old Marvel DC thing has no appeal to me whatsoever. So, but yeah, then other than the race, well, it's 17 laps it took Max to get to the lead, which was more than I jokingly said beforehand. But
Yeah. I mean, obviously when you watched him on the start, he was very careful up Eau Rouge. He was being. He
kind of had to be because he's got so much more to lose than everybody around him.
Yeah. I mean,
The last thing he needed was to knock a wing off or get caught up. If he got caught up in the Sainz Piastri incident or something like that.
Yeah. It was just. I don't know. To just kind of sum it up a little bit. I mean, I'm summing this up a bit. It's not been one of the best.
No, it was alright. It was alright. It had some moments. I mean, to see Max have to actually do some work through the grid's always nice.
Whether Perez was ordered to let him past or what, he didn't fight him. I was expecting him to fight him.
They were probably if it all just let him pass back. Can you imagine the team would be don't slow yourselves down squabbling. Because you could back yourselves back into the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
The best thing they can do is work together and try and bugger off with DRS and leave everyone behind.
Which didn't happen. Well, sort of did and sort of didn't. I mean...
But, there was nothing to be gained by having a good fight between them, so...
No.
I can imagine... Well, we heard Max with his little lover's tiff with his engineer anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on between them two. Because this isn't the first time we've heard them two get a bit bitchy with each other. It was the last race and all.
Yeah.
They were being a bit bitchy with each other. Yes, he apologised, but he was definitely being a bit bitchy this weekend. There was more than a bit bitchy, because Lambert Giampiero was, or JP actually, let's just call him JP. Or JB, whatever it is, he was very, stern with him. It's like, you will follow my instructions, sort of thing.
Just trust us, we know what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what, because then you get the likes of some of the people saying, oh, Max is very calm. Well, that didn't seem very calm. For the fact that them two are having a bloody tiff.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as it's not to the extreme of... Was it Crofty or was it Brundle? One of them mentioned Kimi.
I can't remember now.
One of them mentioned Kimi, and they turned around and said, it's almost a Kimi Raikkonen moment. The whole, just leave me alone, I know what I'm doing. It was either... Because they laughed about it, and I think it might have been Crofty that said it. And yeah, I hope them two patch it up and patch it out, because them two have...
Well, you kind of need to, because your engineer and the driver need to be in sync, or else things will fall apart. I don't think it's as bad as it sounded there. I think there'll be talk at the Red Bull team probably today
Mm,
and they'll get it packed. Like I say, because you can't have them fighting like that. So it will be sorted out.
yeah, because, I mean, okay, that doesn't... I don't get why they felt the need to broadcast that. That was
Yeah, but
between
the thing
them.
is, yeah, but Sky, the amazing Sky did it because we're talking about it.
Well, that's what I mean.
Don't forget, they hear everything and we don't.
Oh, I know they hear everything.
And they only send us what they only send out what they think will either be good, either is good to let us know what's going on, or what they think will be good for this. And you know which category those conversations fell into.
Well, yeah, that's true. And it's just, well, I suppose not to mention this, but bring it up again, but let's bring it up, shall we? It's like the whole Abu Dhabi race director Toto thing, and
Yeah.
then him smashing headphones, and I get it. It gets people talking.
Yeah. Well, here we are, so yes, it definitely works.
I mean, who stood out to you during the race? Bar, obviously, Perez, Max.
Stood out. I mean, Lewis getting that fastest lap right at the end was a little bit of playing Max at his own game, wasn't it?
Just a bit.
Put a fresh set of tyres on and just go and get the fastest lap.
But he had the gap. That was the problem. He had the
You have
gap
the
to
gap
do
to do
it.
it. Yeah, fair play.
That's only like us.
Oh yeah.
Either got the gap on each other or gap the AI and got enough time to get in, stick a set of softs on.
Yeah. If he did it on mediums.
I mean, I don't think he had any soft left, did he?
Possibly not, but he did it on a fresh set of mediums, which is
Weird. I mean, Russell had an alright race. Alonso had an alright race. Norris, an okay race, but I think because of the way that car was set up for wet running,
yeah, it really didn't help it.
no. Ocon didn't do too bad. Stroll, yeah, okay. So. Yuki, like I say, Yuki actually getting another point for AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
So he drove the nuts off that car again, but seemed to be in decent places at decent times to sort of capitalise on it. Bottas and Guan Yu finished, together. Gasly, well, it's a shame. Albon could have been better for the Williams. Could have been. Haas with K-Mag, well. Danny Rick could have been a lot better, I feel.
There was some weird strategy calls over pitting and that for Alcantara. I think he pitted early and then pitted again not long afterwards, didn't he? Which maybe it was a slow puncher or something we didn't know about. But
and then, like I say, you got Sargent, and then obviously Hulkenberg was sort of nowhere. Really.
Yeah.
But like we say, with Sargent's not performing, but yet, yes, he's not delivering and getting the points, but he's getting the experience. And like we say, Carlos and Piastri.
The DNFs. Because they ran into each other.
Yeah.
Although they did keep Sainz's car going probably for a bit longer than they probably should have done.
22 laps.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to see if it was, as bad as
Oh, it was going backwards.
Oh, I know it was
So-
going backwards, but they probably wanted to see if, if it was as bad as.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whopping great big bloody. There was a hole in the side of it, so
Yeah, it's never going to do well.
no. I mean, obviously. Is there anything else that stands out to you before we close out? I know there's one thing we have to do first.
Yeah, I just want to bring back to what I believe we talked about earlier on in the season, but I just wanted to put it to you. Do you think Red Bull can win every single race this season, all 23? I believe at the start of the season I said no. I thought something luck-wise would happen or something would happen, and no. But we're now at the halfway point near enough, and it's 100% so far.
See, because obviously you just said Red Bull, so you didn't specify whether it was Max or Perez, because, the only ones have been Max and
Yeah, well,
Perez.
I'm seeing Red Bull as a whole because obviously at this point it's
Um,
impossible for one of them to win every race. I would have thought at some point some piece of luck or something would happen, but it's not yet.
That makes me wonder. Seriously, have they won every race this season?
So far, yes. Perez has won 2, Max has won the rest.
Oh yeah, because there was. Yeah, because Max had the incident, didn't he? He had some form of problem. I think he had some form of problem at Saudi. I don't want to jinx it, but I do actually want to say yes.
Fair enough.
If they built that car good enough, and I know you,
Which, let's be honest,
I know you mentioned, if that car is legal and everything. I know you brought the question of legality into that car.
Well, no, let's not. What I said was assuming that car is within the world books, which at the moment we 100% have to,
Well,
because we have not got any evidence to suggest otherwise.
No.
So assuming that car is 100% legal, which means they have just nailed the regulations, absolutely square nailed them, then, the only thing that could trip them up is if literally if they fall over each other, in my book. Which I honestly think the two experience, but saying that we've seen teammates do it. We've seen Nico and Hamilton do it. We've seen Vettel and Webber do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that happens, if we end up seeing that and say we end up with, it'll be the first time ever in history that's happened. And whether you like Red Bull or not, you have to sort of take your hat off to a team that's able to do something like that.
That's weird. No ping?
I just got a message off here.
Fair enough.
I didn't think you wanted me to particularly mention it.
No, but if you've...
On the podcast.
Can that be done?
Looking at it now.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. This is
right.
nothing. Just something to do with something we're doing in a moment.
I completely forgot before. I have to. I can see where you're coming from. It would have to be something. They would have to be hit with reliability issues.
I don't think that Red Bull car's going to do that though. Like I say, so far. But I think it's more likely. Like I say, it's more likely incidents.
Yeah, but have they managed to?
I mean, let's be honest. We've watched Max have a couple of little moments. Like I say, he had that moment in Eau Rouge now. Can he do? He threw it over that curb and nearly bloody. So
I mean, as long as we don't get Max and Hamilton side by side again at Monza,
oh, why not?
you know what I mean? As long as we don't get another incident like that, I could probably see them maybe walking away this year with every race as Red Bull. I mean, that would be phenomenal for them to do it. But I don't. Haven't Mercedes had dominance like that though? Or have they never? Has
Nobody's
Mercedes?
had it to this level. Nobody has had it to the level that we are seeing right now.
It's just that, yeah, but it's just that car. The car is phenomenal. But you've got to look at you've got to look at its designer.
Oh yeah.
I don't, like we said, that Red Bull wouldn't be as good if he was. I don't think that Red Bull would be half as good if he wasn't with them. And that's me saying that.
Probably not.
But you can imagine if he was to walk away from Red Bull.
I've said to you
Can
before,
you
you're hoping that if he was to do that, you're hoping that if there's one or two understudies who are currently learning everything they
Yeah,
can
I
of
know
him.
that's what I mean. But can you you know, if he was not the not retirement side of things. Imagine if you walked away from Red Bull
To another team.
to another team. Can you imagine?
I would imagine Red Bull's contract
I
will
know,
quite well
probably.
make that difficult.
No, but can you imagine how many teams would be jumping to try and... All the teams on the grid would be jumping to try and get him.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. So is what kind of money would his name come with? I tell you what, you won't get him for minimum wage.
No, you wouldn't. Because he...
As I've joked with somebody the other day, so right, he could design a wheelie bin and it wouldn't be the slowest thing around the track.
No.
He's just got... He's one of the greats, the same way that Ross Brawn was an amazing team manager, could just put a team together.
Yep.
You know, and you get certain people who are just the best.
Mm.
I mean, in years to come, are we going to look at Horner in that light?
Why?
That team, he has brought it together. You know, he's got Newey, he's got Max, he's got... You may not like him, but Marco, obviously, the people they've put together have made this car.
Marco's
You could argue
he's only an advisor.
you could argue the same for Wolf because he oversaw the entire Hamilton Rosberg era.
Well, that's true.
You know, and while the team manager, we're almost going full circle here to the football manager's comment I made Alan earlier in this podcast.
Yes, but...
Where you're not, you know, say we all look back and we all think of Ross Brawn as an amazing, because he was a team manager, was he as well? But he oversaw that entire Schumacher era. He then went and did it with his own name in that amazing 2009 season with the Brawn car.
Yeah, we read the likes.
Now, it wasn't his design, it wasn't his engine, it wasn't him driving, but he put those people together.
Yeah.
Horner has put this team together.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So you've got to give him some credit, and he's put it together and kept it together.
Yeah.
And made it work. Because there will be amazing designers out there, maybe in other teams, maybe not in F1, who will be at Newey's level.
Oh, yeah.
But who just haven't had the shot. You know, and all it takes is that one person, that one moment that they get the right position. You never know.
Right.
Alpine are doing this big reshuffle now. Whoever they bring in might be the next one.
Yeah.
We could be sat here next season talking about a season where Alpine are walking over everybody.
Yeah, but you had before we finish this off, you had the likes of Colin, you had Colin Chapman as well. Like Frank Williams.
Sir Frank,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah, the likes of Sir Jackie and all that.
Yeah.
You know, you've had the great people, Heskett.
Yeah.
You know, you've had the great names. Now, it's a lot more difficult today than it was back then, I will say, because you didn't need the kind of I mean, you've not got much chance of somebody deciding I want to build my own car and going and getting it to the top level today. Whereas back in the 70s, that was possible.
Mm.
But yeah, it's an era of absolute. You're witnessing absolute brilliance. Whether you're a Red Bull fan or not, you have to just stand back and just admire. You're seeing a team at the absolute top of their game. And I'm not saying it's amazing from a fan's point of view. It's not the best, unless you're a fan of Red Bull particularly. It's not amazing. I will agree with that. But I can't be mad at it because
Yeah, but you've had to. The problem is we've had to sit here for 7 years.
yeah. But before that, we had the Vettel era.
Yeah, but that
Before that,
doesn't.
we had the
Yeah,
Schumacher
but that
era.
doesn't bother me. Schumacher and Vettel don't bother me.
You know, this is how F1 has worked. And you get one team that just nails it, and you know, it's to me the goal is there. If that car is within regulation, and as I say, I fully believe it is. Until I get evidence otherwise, I will give them the benefit.
Mm.
Then they're using the same rule book as everybody else.
Yeah.
Get yourselves up there.
That's what I
Don't
mean.
start slowing them down. That's not the right approach.
No.
Because that's just penalising success.
Yeah.
No. Go on, guys. McLaren have made leaps forward. Mercedes seems to be on the right track. They're catching. Just keep going.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I take it you've seen the league.
I had a quick look, and it's not been a great weekend for me.
So, as you know, guys, just give me one second.
That's 3 seconds he wants.
There we go. As you know, we do the F1 Fantasy League. Now, to be honest, it definitely wasn't a good weekend for you, was it?
No, it really wasn't.
God, Alan's come out on top again.
He had his double points on Verstappen.
Okay. So what went wrong for David? Science went wrong for David.
Yeah, it's still only an 8-point loss. That's not huge. In general, I just, with the exception of the Red Bull car, I just didn't have any high scoring.
Oh, what? I didn't get any negatives though.
Wow, that's what screwed me. Perez lost 20 points for not finishing the sprint.
Yeah.
That is what screwed me.
I had my two times on Verstappen for that one. That's not good for you either because Alan's now 10 points above you now on the overall standings. Still with me over there?
Yeah, I'm still with you. I'm just doing some looking.
Because Alan's 2677 and you're 266.
I know I've lost some ground there.
Yeah. And Alan and I'm like 2804, but yeah, that's hoping you can pull it back.
There's gonna be some big changes before the next race.
Yeah, I'm looking at that myself. I'll be looking at that one myself because yeah, I'm shocked that he managed to get you.
There's a long way to go yet.
Oh, we know there's a long way to go. Could all go wrong for me yet, but yeah. So basically, this is something we started because we used to do the predictions. So if anybody hasn't, obviously, for anybody listening, you know, it's the F1 Formula 1 fantasyformula1.com, and this was instead of our predictions because we could never sort of keep to our.
We never managed to organise it well, did we?
No. So we thought for a bit of fun at the start of the season, we did a register. You know, I registered for this. drag them two in, and this is how we.
Well, I think I suggested it first.
Yeah.
And I sort of just it as a joking,
Mm.
bit of an idea.
But it's kind of working because we keep, we remember about it.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you would want to just quickly round off with?
Not really. No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, overall thoughts is it was a bit blasé at times. Good at points. Not so much. Wasn't one of the best bars we've seen. But it'd be on to Zambo. So, this podcast, obviously, as you know, will be coming out on Friday. Usual 3 p.m. time. Then there isn't going to be any podcasts now until... You should know this, but yeah.
The end of August.
It'll be the end, yeah. It'll be basically the next podcast will actually be out 1st of September.
Yeah, that sounds a long way off, but then I think no, not too long, it's gonna be the 1st of bloody August. So.
Which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's basically the 1st of September will be the next podcast release after this one. So yeah. And then we've got basically comes out the weekend of Monza. And then we've obviously got Monza.
Yep.
But we're gonna wrap this one up. So obviously thank you to David for joining me again.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure as always.
It's good fun. They're enjoyable doing these.
Alright.
So obviously, you know where to get them. Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcasts. Obviously, don't forget to go over to the gaming channel, check that out, because we do a lot of F1 content and other stuff on there. Link for that is in the top of your podcast playlist.
Of your podcast.
Yeah, I mean, top of the podcast playlist. Obviously, come over. You can support the podcast by tipping, which links are in the description for that. If you want to obviously support the gaming channel, you can do. The links of that are over on the channel. And me and David will see you for the next one. So until then.
Later, folks.
Goodbye for now.